you have this thing called resentment where there is absolutely no sense of space, no joy, no ease, no freedom, no possibility, no difference possible. We take a point of view that we don't even realize, and then we define that point of view as us, and now we're stuck by ourselves, by our own choice. Are you having freedom, or are you actually trapped by the idea that this is power when it's actually less than the power of you? True power gives you true freedom. Some of you will have something go into your world and unlock something that you didn't even know was locked. Resentment is the way you trap yourself in the structural cohesions of this reality. And the structural cohesions are the elements of how you try to make reality real the way everybody else does. And you're not willing to go beyond it, and you're not willing to be a traitor to it. And if you look at something like resentment, it's one of those things that you feel duty bound to hold on to. And the idea is, they made me wrong. The weird part of that, and you can look at resentment and you can look at many other things: anger, rage, fear, and hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, all the distractor implants. What you do with resentment is you feel duty bound to hold on to this thing that makes you right and other people wrong. If you're holding on to resentment, it's this way of like, I'm right and you're wrong. And people wouldn't look at it that way. This is one of the things I love about Access and having access to this way of looking at things and these tools, is people would not look at it that way. They would look at it as, they did me wrong and therefore they're making me wrong. Well, anytime you go into they're making me wrong, remember, you always accuse others of what you yourself are doing. What you're doing is holding on to resentment to make them wrong. But what happens is, this is one of these cases where you're holding on to something really intensely that's contracting your world and putting you into the structural cohesions of the vibration with the density of this reality, and making yourself right, and creating a little, like a fortress there that you can now defend everyone in the world against. And remember, your point of view creates your reality. So if underlying this, you're like, I must defend my being, I must defend myself, which is actually, I must defend my point of view. Just with that one point of view, what you've done is you've taken your point of view, your fixed point of view, that is your fixed point of view against their fixed point of view. And you have defined that as your very being, which a point of view is never your being. A point of anything cannot be your being, because you're an infinite being, which is infinite space. And you're using all kinds of energy to contract that into a particular point that you can now defend against. Is that true potency? It is the power of this reality, is the power based on structural cohesion. But is it true potency? And true power gives you true freedom. Are you having freedom? Or are you actually trapped by the idea that this is power when it's actually less than the power of you? Like, literally, there are times where you will embrace a different reality, embrace a different way of being in the world, and you'll be like, oh my God, am I going crazy? And what I've realized is, wow, I'm actually embracing being something completely different. So what is the difference that you can embrace, that you are choosing? Like, you're the one who opened that door, nobody else did. What is the difference you can embrace and enjoy that will allow you to not only know you're not going crazy, but allow you to recognize the gift of the different reality you are choosing? So what is the difference you can embrace and enjoy that will allow you to have the awareness, that will allow you to have the gift of the different reality you are choosing? If we go to this resentment, and once again, anger, rage, fear, and hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, especially blame, shame, regret, and guilt, because those also live in resentment's living room, okay? So if you It's where you're fighting to maintain the rightness of your fortress of reality against the onslaught of wrongness that you perceive as being perpetrated against you. So with that, do you realize that if you choose to go there and you choose to hold on to it, we got to realize these are choices we're making. We do it based on the idea that this is power, when in actuality, it's what we're told is power from this reality. And this reality has a vested interest in you never having the true power of you, because the true power of you is the space of being infinite with no point of view. And you notice in this case, there are massive points of view and massive contraction. And the idea of this reality is true power is taking a fixed point of view and then defending it against all attackers. But remember, your point of view creates your reality. So when you have the point of view that my power is taking a point of view and defending it against all attackers, now you set yourself up for everybody to attack you so you can prove that you were right for holding in place your fortress and your defense system. There's an interesting thing, because when you ask from the true willingness to have something new in your world, then I can contribute dynamically. If you ask from, what is this? I decided what this is. Tell me that this is what it is. There's very little that I can do other than, if I don't tell you what it is, you won't hear it anyway. If I don't tell you what you've concluded it is, you won't hear it anyway. So you start to realize in this that there's so many ways in which we take a point of view that we don't even realize. And then we define that point of view as us. And now we're stuck by ourselves, by our own choice, to take an infinite being and turn it into a point. Because every point of view takes you from infinite, which would be infinite choice, infinite possibilities, infinite ways of changing things, infinite ways of being different, and takes you into one point, which you now must defend against all others, while pretending that you're this tiny, which really also pisses you off, which becomes another layer of holding it in place. Because remember, the one time it's appropriate to get angry is when somebody's lying to you, even if it's you. So now you're angry because you know you're this and you know you should have this, but you are choosing against you. So you only have this and are this, or believe that you are this, which is a lie you tell yourself that you're buying from yourself, which makes you angry at yourself and angry at the world that made you do this, except you're the one choosing to participate in the world that made you do it. And now you have this thing called resentment because nobody else knows what the fuck to call it, where there is absolutely no sense of space, no joy, no ease, no freedom, no possibility, no difference possible. Ask to see everywhere you're lying to yourself about you and then about the world. It will amaze you. It is phenomenal, the extent to which we do that to ourselves. One of the things that is just an immense source of gratitude in my world is you making the choice. And it's not the easiest choice, except when it's time to make the choice, it's the easiest choice, okay? It doesn't seem like the easiest choice, but you making the choice to recommit, if you will, or to choose again, to be aware of choosing interesting point of view. I look at the future that creates for you, which gives me an amazing sense of gratitude, but also the future that creates for our world. If we were to do nothing else other than choose interesting point of view, which is total allowance of everything and everyone, including us, including our wrongness, including our foibles, including our stupidities, including our idiocy, and everybody else's, our world would change instantaneously. Now, I'm saying all of this, I'm being the energy as I do. I've talked about this a billion times, in the hopes that some of you will have something go into your world and unlock something that you didn't even know was locked. Part of the awareness that comes with that is then the awareness of that's all a construct. The idea of limitation is a construct. You take infinite space, infinite choice, infinite ways of handling the situation, infinite possibilities, and go, no, those don't exist. Only my structural cohesions that I've already created exist. And therefore, I'm going to compress myself into a point and defend this point, as though if you take a fixed point of view and defend it, now you are unassailable. Now you're assailing yourself, remember, anytime you go to do this and put your dukes up like that, what you want to do is punch yourself in the face, because that's actually what you're doing, because energetically you've taken you from infinite choice, infinite space, infinite ease, infinite joy, infinite glory, infinite possibilities, and compressed you into a shitty little point that has no choice. What is possible for me beyond this reality that I think is not possible, that if I allowed the possibilities would actualize a different reality? And what else is possible?